17. Acts chapter 17, verses 28 and 29. Acts chapter 17, verse 28, and it reads as follows. And it reads as follows. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your poets have said, for we are also his offspring. For as much then as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device. For in him we live and move and have our being. For a few moments I want to talk from the subject, an essential environment. An essential environment. There are certain businesses that are deemed to be essential. I want to share today that there is an essential environment that man must have in order for him to grow spiritually. What forces on the outside of us and help to shape and mold us, how much of an effect will our environment have on us? We've already talked about self, the development of self. What is man that thou art mindful of him? Now we want to look at our environment. What about our environment that helps to make us who we are? The setting for today's message, Paul finds himself in Athens. He is dealing with this matter of the Greeks and their mentality of art and finery. The Greeks had all of these statues. Many of these arts or statues we admire today really were connected with certain religions, certain paganism, certain idols. So Paul comes and he sees this inscription, this inscription to the unknown God. Right? And when Paul got through, he started talking about all of these gods that you are trying to worship, but in essence there is one true God, the living God. It says it is in him that we live, move, and have our being. I want to question that today and look at this matter of the environment, that how much of a role does our environment play on who we are? How much influence does our environment have on our character and our makeup? What role does the environment play as it relates to our spiritual growth and development? I want to start talking about a surrounding sway. This surrounding that sway us. The idea persons really harbor today is that our environment helps to mold us. We are molded by our associates, our occupation, our home dwelling. That's the popular attitude about many people, that first of all, you can talk about the positive impact that a person's associates will have on their character. Who you run with can determine a lot of the way you act. If you hang out with the culture, eventually some of the culture is going to rub off on you. When you hang out with folks from the hood, some of the hood will end up rubbing off on you. How much of an impact does environment play on us? That this mentality that if we can just get folk in the right environment, if we can fit them in in the right culture, we can determine how the outcome will be. We can make people better by making their environment better. Some say, well, their occupation has something to do with the kind of work you do can determine the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
That you take a person who has to do a lot of meticulous calculating, has to be careful on how he or she deals with their work. They can't just guesstimate. They can't just act like something is just happening haphazardly. They have to be precise. They have to measure. They got to know what's going on. The devil is busy.
Yeah.
Testing 1, 2. That's right. So that. So that your occupation can have something to do with what kind of a person you end up being, what I work in, how I work. Somebody said, well, he dealt with people who work on the railroad. In other words, a man who fixes the motor for an automobile doesn't have the same preciseness as a man who fixed the motor on an airplane. Or a jet plane. If the automobile motor malfunctions, you just pull on the side of the road. But when the airplane engine fails, you're going to have some serious difficulty. For what you're doing has a lot to do with the outcome. So your environment can make a difference. Some people go through life without calculating their moves, no planning, no preciseness. They just take life as it comes. If you hang out with folk who just do whatever comes to their mind, they just wake up in the morning and just whatever hits their mind, that's what they do. They go wherever the wind blows them. It says that kind of person will have a different life from a person who has a planned activity. And then he says, where you live can determine the kind of person you are. You always have a problem trying to hire a janitor to clean the church, don't clean their own house. If you can't clean at your house, what makes you think you're going to be able to clean up the church? Do I have a witness here? It says, where you live can determine the kind of person you are. If you live in dirt and filth, you probably end up being a dirty and filthy person. If you live this kind of mentality, your life can be pretty messed up. Well, my brothers and sisters, that's the attitude Job's friends had. When they came to Job, he had lost all of his children. He had lost all of his money. His cattle were gone. His camels were gone. His sheep, his goat, all had been taken away. And when his friends came and they saw the result, they said, well, you must have done something wrong. There's no way God would allow this kind of catastrophe to occur in your life if you had not committed some great sin. Like a whole lot of folk do today, they had his trial, they convicted him, and they were ready to execute him. Isn't it a shame how some folk can kick you when you're down?
Say it.
It is sad how some folk you think will be there to lift you up when you need them are the very ones to step on you when you need a helping hand. This matter of surrounding, this matter of environment may have some impact on us. But at the same time, you have to admit your surrounding can't determine your destiny. Just because my daddy is sorry don't mean I have to be a sorry daddy. Just because I was raised in a sinful home doesn't mean I have to be a sinner. Just because things are bad where I live don't mean I have to have a messed up life. Somebody know what I'm talking about. You can be a citizen of a somebody can testify. David said he'll testify. In fact, when you look at the Garden of Eden just smashed all this theory and messes it up. For you see, when God created man, he places him in a perfect environment. When God created man, the Garden of Eden had everything any person could possibly desire. He had all the food he wanted to have. Didn't have to worry about picking the weeds out of the garden because there were no weeds to pick. He was in a perfect environment. He had the perfect surroundings. He had a perfect God who was looking out for him. And yet this perfect environment resulted in bad results. This same man that starts out right ends up messing up. Even though everything is ideal in his surroundings, yet he still comes out with a negative result. The Garden of Eden tells us that no, you can't just depend on the environment only. You got to have another equation. You got to have another element to include in the equation in order for things to come out the way that it should come out. I have a witness here. My brothers and sisters, this matter of the essential environment was also testified by Solomon, David's boy. This wise man, some surmise the wisest man that ever lived besides Jesus. This wise man proved not to be so wise on the end when he allowed his wives to sway him from the eternal God and start worshiping idol gods and allowed his attention. You see, he was not so much an idol worshiper, he just allowed his attention to get distracted in another direction. So that he could not focus completely on God. He starts out right. He starts out saying, Lord, I'm going to serve you. He starts out saying, Lord, I'm going to please you. Lord, I'm going to do what you tell me to do. And yet he ends up straying away from God. Oh, I wish I had somebody here. Well, all I'm trying to tell you is that a lot of times we say one thing, but we end up doing something else. Oh, I wish I had somebody. He wasn't lying. He thought he was telling the truth. He meant what he said. He was committed to what he said. But don't you know the devil has a way of messing with us? The devil has a way of distracting us. The devil has a way of causing us to pull into the wrong direction. And let me just tell all you strong folk, you it can't happen to me kind of people. Let me tell you, none of us are so strong that the devil don't know our weakness. Superman had to be concerned about kryptonite. And if Superman had kryptonite, you got your kryptonite too. I know you all in the bag of chips, but the devil knows exactly what it takes to get you. I'm not going to let no woman cause me to stop serving the Lord. Well, the devil knows it ain't no woman going to touch me. I wish I had something. It don't necessarily have to be a woman. He might have to get a pork chop to get you. It doesn't have to be unfortunate. He might take a man to, I wish I had a minute. The devil knows exactly what it takes in order to get you to going in the wrong direction. And said, well, there is one even greater than Solomon. And his name is Jesus. Well, let me go one step further. This surrounding sway, this matter of my surroundings, the popular belief is that if I change my, Paul addresses what environment we have to have in order to be who God wants us to be. It's right there in the text. He says, in him, y'all missed it. He said, in him, that's God. In God, we live, we move, and we have our being. In him, in God, we live, we move, and we have our being. Paul says, when you talk about the essential environment for a person, that environment is God. And you see the problem with a lot of us, we believe, but we don't believe. I understand that he gives us the freedom to choose. We are free moral agents. We can do what we want to do. But when you do what you want to do, you have to pay the consequences to what I wish I had witnessed. To what what you do. Oh, yeah. This coronavirus, this COVID-19 that we are all concerned about, it's serious stuff. At the same time, you can't really revolve your life around the fear of a virus. Y'all don't hear me. You can't really let experts tell you how to live when the experts tell you they're not experts. How you gonna be expert on something that never happened before? Experts mean there are no experts. We're here trying to learn what's going on. And I told you last week, I get concerned with y'all talking about I believe in the science. You're lying, because science don't come up with these conclusions that they're coming up with. You don't talk about the percentage of folk who are sick. We don't even know the whole element. I mean, how you gonna tell the percentage of folk who's sick? We don't even know how many people are in the measure. Oh yeah, y'all got quiet right there. Yeah. How you gonna tell me you got a new case last week when you didn't really count the folk at the house last month? There might not be a new case, that might be an old case that you never did measure the first time.
Say it.
That you can't go around ignoring folk and then all of a sudden want to pay attention to them and act like you such an expert. We're gonna have school at home, and the first thing we found out, we've been discriminating in our school system. How you say that, preacher? Why is it you had to buy computers for children who should have had them in the first place? Why you gonna bring Wi-Fi to a student so he can get his homework now? Well, that was happening when teachers was assigning him assignments